Well, hi there. It's Sandy Allnock, and I'm excited to bring you the first of the 12 days of Christmas tags for 2020. It feels very normal to be back to making a tag for this series. Not much in 2020 has felt normal. So this felt really, really good to participate in this. And the song that has inspired my tag is Silver Bells. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks. That's what I was thinking, and I used the snow globe shaker die with the dies from the Merry Little Christmas set. So I got out the buildings from the Merry Little Christmas because I had this idea in my head and it did work. I was kind of excited. There's an inner circle that is normally a throwaway piece in the shaker die set, and I wanted my buildings to fit inside that. And I wanted one of them to be in the front and to be cut out of that circle. And the other one, I'll just do a little hand trimming around the outside edge. As you can see, it's a little wider than it needs to be. To color them, and you could do a white on white tag, which would also be beautiful, but to color them if you want, you can use a Copic airbrush. You could also do inking techniques with that, but I'm better at airbrush than inking. The airbrush works by putting the chisel nib in the marker, and there's that little hole that blows air across the surface of the marker onto the paper. So you can use all your different markers, just pop them out and stick them in. Works way easier than a regular airbrush because I did that in college and it was terrible because ink got gummed up. This does not get gummed up in that way. And I'm just going to blend a couple colors on here. Ellen does not sell the compressor, just so you know, because it's a beast to mail. It's really heavy. But you can get one at Harbor Freight if you have a Harbor Freight in your town. I will link you on the blog to the compressor that I use. So if you're interested in getting one, it might be something good for Santa to get. Get the ABS system from Ellen. There's also a cord that you can get that sometimes comes with the compressor because you have to attach the compressor somehow to the airbrush, and then you'd be good to go. So I'm going to airbrush the buildings as well, stopping short of the top so it looks like there's snow on them. And I cut off the little, what looks like smokestacks or little, little puffs of smoke on that one piece because that looked a little weird, trimmed it down. And then the other piece, I just cut out a little hillside from a sticky note so I could mask off that portion and it looks like a little snowy hillside. And I decided to try a different color on this one to see what it looked like to have blue on the front buildings and purple on the back. And I realized I liked the blue enough, I wanted more blue on my tag. So I added a little bit of blue onto the background so that I could have a little bit of that showing around the corners maybe when the buildings were in place. So you could do inking things for that, totally fine, but I'm just much better with an airbrush than with any kind of ink and blending tool kind of things. So for adhesive, I'm using Be Creative tape because I find that just sticks things together really nicely. But I needed to do a little fussing with this. So I laid the outside border down first and then tucked in the larger buildings. These are the ones that I need to trim off the edges. I could just glue it on top, but I wanted them to be flush. I thought it would be prettier if they were flush. So I stuck the little building in the front down at the bottom and then tucked the bigger buildings behind it so that I could get them at the right height. Pressed it down with that tape on the back, and then that's ready to go with just trimming off the outside edges of that to match the circle around the outside edges. I use Be Creative tape also for adhering the front part of the shaker globe onto the back part. But the tape was a little thicker than I needed. I just rolled it with my finger so it tucked underneath. And this is just going to be a tag, so it doesn't require a ton of adhesive on it. You could use a lot of different adhesives too. Stuck that down onto the tag and then nestled in my little pieces. And voila, that's done. I did use the stamp set just to see what the buildings were and could I learn anything about where to put the windows or anything. It's kind of up to you whether or not you want to try to mimic that or if you just want to make your own. And I decided making my own was just going to be easier. So I put in some doors at the bottom and windows in different places and stars in the sky or snow. You could call it either one. And then use the to and from the stamp set to stamp onto the bottom portion of my tag. And I thought it came out really beautiful. If you're interested in joining in the 12 tags of Christmas this year, Ellen's got a linky thingy over on her blog, and there's a different song for each day, so you can be inspired by different ones. Silver Bells is my song. I hope you get your own projects added to the linky thingy, and I will see you guys again soon. Have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before then.